third graders. I'm really excited to continue our read of The Puppy Place. And we left Charles where he had decided to make sandwiches. He was really hungry. And finally, the lamb went to sleep. So he went out in the snow to take sandwiches to his dad and to Steve. And that's where we left the story yesterday. So let's read. We're on page 78. We're on page 78. So am I, Dad said. He stoked the fire one more time, throwing chunks of wood into the roaring blaze beneath the boiling sap. Then he stood up and helped himself, taking half a sandwich in each hand. Thanks a lot, Charles. He took a big bite of one in his right hand. Yum, you're getting good at this. Maybe I'll start asking you to make my lunches when we're home. Charles ducked his head. He liked making Dad happy. We've already made 3 gallons of syrup, Steve reported. Just a bit more to boil off and we'll be done for the day. How's the lamb doing? Dad asked. I mean, Fluffy. He's great. He's already had 3 bottles, said Charles. Nice work, said Steve. I knew you'd be good at this. Charles ducked his head again. He's probably hungry again by now, he said. I better get back in there. He was beginning to realize what a big responsibility it was to take care of a baby lamb. No wonder Steve had been happy for the help. Charles hurried through the snow and let himself back into the cabin. It was a relief to shut the door and leave the snow and wind behind. It was quiet inside the cabin. Very quiet. Charles did not hear any bleating. That was good. Maybe Fluffy was still napping? But where was he? The lamb was not on the couch where Charles had last seen him. Where are you? He called, looking all around for Fluffy. Then he spotted the little lamb curled up on the bed of towels near the wood stove, with Freckles right next to him. Oh no, Charles said. Steve had told him to keep the animals apart. How could this have happened? Had the wind pushed the door open? Maybe Charles hadn't latched it all the way when he went out. He rushed over, ready to pull Freckles away. But as he got closer, he saw there was no need to worry. The lamb and the puppy both looked perfectly happy, curled up together. It was obvious that Freckles wasn't going to hurt Fluffy. The lamb's eyes were almost closed, and he had that funny smiling expression on his face. Freckles was relaxed, lying with one paw over his friend's shoulder. The pup looked up at Charles and thumped his tail. I found myself a buddy. Isn't he the best? Charles smiled at Freckles and bent to pet him. Good boy, he said. That's a good, gentle boy. At that, Fluffy leapt to his feet and began bleating. Charles burst out laughing. Yes, Fluffy, you're a good boy too, but you're a lamb, not a puppy, remember? Fluffy bleated and pranced. Springing around the room, Freckles scrambled after him, and the 2 animals had a quick game of chase. First, Fluffy chased Freckles, then Freckles chased Fluffy, until Fluffy won the game by jumping up onto the back of the couch, and from there to the top of a low bookshelf. Freckles stared up at his new friend, panting. Then he went into a play bow, front paws outstretched and high in the air. Come on down from there and chase me some more. But Fluffy suddenly seemed to remember that he was hungry. He began to bleat again and didn't stop until Charles fixed him a bottle and brought it over to the couch. Fluffy leapt from the bookshelf down onto the couch and then onto Charles's lap. He began to drink hungrily while Freckles lay down to watch. Soon after the bottle was empty, Fluffy fell fast asleep on Charles's lap. Freckles snoozed too at Charles's feet. Phew, whispered Charles to himself, leaning back on the couch. It was a lot of work taking care of these animals. He was ready for a rest himself. Chapter 8, page 83. Charles didn't mean to fall asleep, but the next thing he knew, Freckles was chasing Fluffy around the cabin again. "What is going on in here?" said Dad, who must have just come in. He stood by the front door pulling off his jacket and boots. "Freckles, stop that. You're scaring the lamb." Charles laughed. "Fluffy isn't scared of anything," he said. "They're playing. Just watch for another minute and you'll see." Sure enough, a moment later, the two reversed directions and Fluffy began chasing Freckles. The puppy scrambled here and there, sliding on the wooden floor while the lamb bounced after him. Dad started to laugh. "Just like a pair of puppies, he said. "I guess lambs are playful too." "Oh, sure," said Steve, who had come in behind Dad, stomping snow off his boots. "I love to watch them over at Chloe's when they're first let out to pasture. The lambs are all over the place, climbing on everything, including their mothers. They chase each other just like that." "I thought we were supposed to keep them apart," said Charles. He'd been feeling terrible about maybe leaving the door open so Freckles would slip inside. "Well, we did our best, and then I guess they took over. If they want to be friends, who are we to stop them?" Steve said. Nothing ever seemed to upset him. "Now, are you ready to help me get supper?" All right, let's stop there, the bottom of page 84. And I guess they're getting ready to have dinner. So we'll start there tomorrow. Thank you so much, third graders. I hope you're doing well and staying safe. Take care of yourselves, all right? Bye now.